Hi Aries, welcome to your end of October 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Wow, Major Arcana much? So 6 cards, 3 Major Arcana cards. Things that make you go, It's really, I'm not really surprised because, I'm doing this reading on the heels of a full moon in your sign. So you may have had some kind of fallout from that, or maybe just change. We don't have to say it's bad or anything like that, but definitely emotional purging, release, endings, openings for new beginnings, which are what endings are. So, oh yeah, and we got the World card. That's endings. So anyway, the heart of the matter is the 9 of Pentacles, which is a card of financial independence. When I do the heart of the matter card, it's not to suggest that this is what is happening for you. You are financially independent right now. It could be that this is a big deal to you right now. You're focusing on how can I be, and actually come to think about it, on Halloween, which is during this time frame, we are having a blue moon, another full moon, and this time in Taurus, which is your second house of earned income. So that could be featured, and you may already know that there are some situations happening that are dictating change in finances. Maybe you're waiting for some kind of money from a lawsuit or anything like that, because now we're going to have a new moon in Libra on October 16th, and that's going to be in your legal affairs area, the 7th house. So that may be some kind of new development with some kind of a lawsuit, legal matter. Maybe it's divorce. Who knows? Whatever, doesn't matter. But that's about you feeling like you're going to be financially free as a result of this. If you are somebody who is like anticipating having to pay somebody else, you may be questioning, will I still be like able to do my own thing? Am I going to, like if it's child support and you're the one that has to pay out? But I just want to say, this has nothing to do with these particular cards, but I do feel that Aries is very good at manifesting money. And I think one of the best reasons, well, 2 of the best reasons why is generosity, which I think is, to me, circulating money, law of attraction, where it's like you want to help others or you want to bless others, make them happy with material blessings. And that can only, to me, come back in a good way to you. And also that you are a cardinal sign as well as ruled by Mars. So you have a lot of get up and go and a lot of energy. You have energy to spare. So you're capable of taking the initiative of doing new things, trying new things. You love doing new things. And so you don't get stuck in a rut, and I think you just are very good at manifesting more of it in a very active way. Sometimes when we say manifest, it sounds like we're just sitting there waiting for this to happen. In the past position, we have the Judgment card, which can be this feeling of like everything coming down on you, kind of like the karmic bitch slap. I've been saying that. I know that's not very nice and spiritual. I'm sorry. But, where is Saturn in your chart? Saturn went back into your 10th house of career because it went back into Capricorn in early July. It will be leaving there in December, so that'll be nice. Although Saturn Saturn is the ruler of the 10th house. So it's not like Saturn makes um, the 10th house like this terrible, a Saturn transit in the 10th is bad. The problem is that, or I don't want to say problem, but the situation is that Pluto is also there. And and a while back until May, you had the South Node there. So there was like the karmic element was like fierce. And how this may have manifested for some people when some Aries, when all three of these were present in your 10th, is that you may have felt like perhaps it was a series of events or some big, Moab, mother of all bombs, that just kind of dropped on you about career, about your public reputation, getting a blow to it, having to claw back up. Some of you may have kind of took the bait and allowed yourself to get involved with the wrong people. Pluto is the underworld. Maybe you thought you could get some kind of fast track to something career-wise that was really sketchy. And it came back to you. And in those cases, while it may have been embarrassing, humiliating, or just plain disappointing, the purpose is for your growth. And whenever you focus on growth and not on your ego, what it needs to feed itself, the better off you will be. And I think a lot of Aries people are becoming more sensitive. You have Chiron transiting your sign right now, and understanding that you can be vulnerable. You don't always have to be this, thankfully, you're an Aries, so you will appreciate my Sagittarian honesty, but I was going to say blowhard, that you don't have to give this big impression of that you've got it, that you're just invulnerable and you're so strong and all this stuff. Being vulnerable is not being weak. And so anyway, so judgment coming back on you in some way. Maybe also another possibility is, just receiving, and this could be in any area, receiving that kind of karmic, but it's called baptism by fire. That should be good for a fire sign, where you have to just go through it. You just have to endure this, whatever this thing is, and then you can emerge from the other side in a better place. The higher message is the Wheel of Fortune. What an apropos card. We have the person falling off of the wheel. We have this person on top. Eat, drink, and be merry when you're on top, and then it's not so much. Life is cyclical. And, when a person clings to a certain circumstance and thinks it's going to be there forever, and a great example of that is your career situation. If somebody has this great job, this great career, and they have a fabulous reputation, and then something comes along and sullies it, or they just get fired, or, the company folds, or whatever happens, and they lose their job, then they feel the sense of loss of identity. And it's because they're identifying with something that is temporary. This happens to beautiful women. I'm not picking on women. I'm a woman. Men, are allowed to age ungracefully. Women, and some women care, some women don't. I wonder if you can tell which camp I'm in. It's so funny because I think to myself, if I had been a YouTuber in my 20s, oh my God, how I could have cleaned up on here. Instead of 30 years later, oh well. There you go. There's timing. There's timing for you. It's all about timing. And but I mean, it's all about cycles, and who knows? Who knows what would have happened if that were the case? But in your case, you have to go with the flow. And you know what? I don't have to lecture you because a lot of you are capable of it, but it still might be like, God, even like a relationship. Wow, this was so great. At one time this was so great. What happened to us? And it's like, well, everything is always changing. Therefore, if something can't stay the same and two people are always changing, then maybe they changed in different ways and they were too different to stay together. And you don't have to make it into this grand drama, and it doesn't have to be one person is bad and one person was good. It is what it is. People say it is what it is a meaningless phrase. Couldn't be further from the truth. It means something. It means whatever is the reality of the situation is the reality of the situation. And also, the Wheel of Fortune is connected to Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Capricorn in that 10th house. So always remember that you have Jupiter. You might have these fierce planets in that 10th house, but you also have Jupiter there. Jupiter can give luck. It can give that lucky, what we would call lucky break. I would call alignment. I would call that you have prepared for that moment in whatever way that has shown up for you. What crosses you is the Four of Wands. This is the card of marriage. So yeah, for some of you, the happy home. For some of you, this is going to be a divorce situation, and the money that the coming, what do you call it? Trying to decide who gets what, and maybe it's feeling like a nightmare. And now when you think about it, you think, how could I ever have, thought this person was, the one for me? And it's like, it's weird how, we can go from one extreme to the other. You don't have to go to extremes. You can say, there was a time when we were aligned and now we're not. And that's just the bottom line. It's not anything, really mystical or tragic. It just happened and now it didn't. But also, one thing I want to say too is that if you're still living under the same roof with this person, you may dread going home. It may feel like a really unpleasant place to be. Maybe your children are adversely affected. So it could be something along those lines too. But that's even more reason to get everything together. And we do have what's coming in, the World card, the ending, the last card of the Major Arcana. And actually, for the vast majority, I'm just I'm not gonna go there because it's too confusing and it's not really accurate. What I think the World card represents actually is the full moon in Taurus. Might be that final punctuation mark on something. But looking also at the fact that some of you watching this are going to watch before the new moon in Libra, which is happening in that 7th house, that relationship sector. The World card it's like the full moon is telling a story between now and that new moon. So we're looking at you as the self and Libra as the other. So you're finishing something with yourself and you're beginning something in that 7th house, which could be a whole new relationship with this person who may soon be your ex or may already be your ex. And maybe that it's funny, it's funny because I was kind of half joking, but it really looked like batons that she was holding in her hand. Somebody told me they were diplomas because this can be like graduation day. But I could see it as some kind of a legal document, like a divorce decree. And maybe you've gotten it, the judgment has come in, but you have to see it, that tangible evidence. And then it's like saying to yourself, this is finally over with. But again, this can apply to different areas of life. Some kind of an ending. Maybe it is graduating, literal graduating from college, and it was not an easy feat. It was not an easy feat, and you know, I was thinking of like the young people, but really people are going to college at all ages. I think I was about 42 when I got my bachelor's degree. But people go to college at all ages and you know, some people don't get BAs, they get associate degrees, whatever their, you know, goals are. And then you have to go back home. And I was saying you're 22 and you're going back home, but really a lot of times you don't finish when you're 22, and some people go back when they're 26, and they might be going back home too. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way anymore. There are just so much has changed. I would say and Pluto, thank you, Pluto, or some people might want to blame Pluto. But Pluto in Capricorn, especially, you have to note that's in Capricorn, changing society, dismantling these old, what we would call traditions or structures. Capricorn could be structures. And so there's a radical element to Pluto. And that's why I think it is perceived as dangerous, because, you know, how many people like the status quo? Well, I don't think a lot of Aries people like the status quo. So I think that you are more than capable of, you know, moving on from an ending and not getting stuck in the past. But this just may be the time frame when all of this is coming down. And the outcome is the Seven of Swords. This is a card of kind of going your own way. The number 7 is kind of an introverted number, and you're an extroverted person. You're not somebody who tends to, you're very independent, obviously, and you're very outspoken. You're not a shrinking violet, but you're not necessarily somebody who keeps to yourself. I would say the average Aries person. There are definitely exceptions to that. I've mentioned that somebody asked me about that. They said they didn't feel like an Aries, and it turned out their sun was in the 12th house, and that's an example of how astrology is multifaceted, multi-layered. And, you know, the simplistic condemnation of astrology is really, you know, it's not really engaging it at a deep level. So that's what I love about astrology. The Seven of Swords, I mean, I wonder if this is also going to be about stolen resources. Because when that full moon shines in that second house in Taurus, that could bring up secrets that have been revealed about your finances. So who's been doing what? Has somebody been, you know, doing something they shouldn't do? Maybe this was a spouse who took money from your bank account or something. Now, typically, we would look to the opposite house, the 8th house, for those matters. And certainly, next month, there will be a new moon in that 8th house. But even so, the second house, to me, is specifically about how it affects you. So to me, that would be in play. So for some of you, you may discover even more the thievery that has occurred, and even in the workplace, of not getting the salary that you should have gotten, and you may be, quit the job, but you find out after the fact, or it is part of the lawsuit. I don't know. Wow. Well, that was an interesting thing. I was going to pick another card because I thought, well, the Seven of Swords, what if it is something like that? I don't want to end on a bad note, but that isn't, because it can it can kind of validate you, because you may have had some kind of concerns about your money, with the Nine of Pentacles being at the center of it. Like, hey, I should be able to support myself. Maybe this is retirement related. Maybe that's what the World card is. And you thought you should have a certain amount of money. Maybe the accountant stole it. Who knows? Or just stolen from a 401k, some kind of investor, I don't know, investment firm. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. It resonated, Aries. If you would like a personal reading, I'm mainly an astrologer. You can check my astrology readings that I offer, and my tarot. I offer tarot readings. I offer a combination for a special price of two full-length readings, astrology and tarot, at the link below. Thanks for watching. Bye.